Hi, I'm Kaden Dig, a CPA. The Bay Area has a pretty interesting specialized construction company that's selling for $2,160,000. They make wine cellars for both residential and commercial. So, high net worth individuals, residents who want specialized cellars for storage, underground entertainment venues, and large commercial facilities for wine production. They make $3,330,000 in sales, and the owner is profiting $635,000. Owner wants to retire. They have a large team, well, fairly large, like 9 employees who are seasoned. They have licenses in engineering and general contracting. Pretty interesting business. Sounds so bougie. 598 Parker Road in Fairfield is leased to Pizza Hut. So you could be Pizza Hut's landlord through 2033 on the existing lease for $1,050,000. That lease is making net operating income for the landlord of $63,000 for the 6% cap rate. And Mel's Diner in Antioch is also for sale. That's about $2 million, and it's making a 6.5% cap rate. I just want to point out that net operating income is the net take home for the landlord. That is assuming there's no interest on the property, but typically with triple net leases, you're not having to pay for the property taxes. So a residential property of equivalent value, a $1,050,000 property would probably have about a $12,000 property tax bill. And so I think most of the Bay Area, like, you could probably rent $1 million property for around like $40,000, maybe $48,000 a year. And the landlord still has to pay for insurance, repairs, utilities sometimes, like the general maintenance of the property, and they have to pay for property taxes. So even if, I think from my experience in preparing people's taxes, I find that most people are making maybe like 4%, like stretching it if they're making 5% of the value of the property in gross rent, right? But then there's all these expenses that take away from the profitability of it. So property tax, etc., right? And from my experience, the net that they take home tends to be like negative most of the time, and at best it's like 2%. So on $1 million property, that would be about 20,000. And the nice part about commercial properties is that you have rent increases already built into the lease, and the tenant is like not subject to like health complications and other things that like people would be subject to. So it's the net operating income of $1,050,000 property leased to Pizza Hut, making $63,000. That's the bottom line, compared to the bottom line of renting the same value residential property would you wouldn't even really be able to get 63,000 probably as the top line, and what you end up taking home in terms of the bottom line is much less.